Welcome everyone. Welcome to the next webinar in the Growth Accelerator series, all part of the Ingram Micro Cloud Movers program. Today the topic is identify, and we're going to cover lots of different ways that partners around the world and predominantly in Australia are differentiating themselves, and hopefully you can take a lot away from today's session. Now, just a bit of background information for you. There will be a quiz at the end of the webinar, and for those of you that complete it and get it right, there will be, I believe it's 200 points go towards the Cloud Movers program for you. Also at the end of the session, we'll have a bit of Q&A. So if you've got any questions, feel free to put it through on the chat session, and I'll endeavour to answer them at the end of the webinar. If we don't have time or it's something we need to take offline, I can get back to you separately about it. So with that in mind, let's kick off and cover the agenda. So 5 key areas today that we're going to talk about, and the importance of industry specialisation and as one of the options for differentiation, and a number of the other different ways we're going to cover differentiation. I won't read that out because you can read it all yourself, but we are going to cover quite a few different techniques or avenues for differentiation that you have at your disposal. And probably the biggest challenge for you is deciding which one to pursue and making that leap of faith to actually put the effort into making it happen, because that's sometimes one of the challenging things, to change what we were doing previously and to take what is perceived to be a risk, but it's actually proven to minimize your risk by differentiation around a particular point. So without any more background, let's dive into it. Quick introduction. My name's Philip Scott from Pipefuel. We're a specialist consultants, marketing consultancy that works with the successful Microsoft partners. And really who we work with are those partners that want to challenge the status quo. If you're more than happy with the way you're growing your business and your current sales team and the results they're getting, there's probably not much need to talk to us. But if you're sort of looking for a different way, you're frustrated with the growing costs of acquisition, that's when we work with particular partners and can offer an alternative. So I'll leave that with you and dive into the presentation. Now, in our first webinar, we covered quite a bit of the topic that the traditional IT services model is under a lot of pressure. I believe there's around 12,000 Microsoft partners in the country. If you add other competitors to Microsoft, there would be 15,000, 20,000 different IT services companies around the country, all vying for attention, all vying for business in the marketplace. And so that makes it difficult and to stand out from the crowd. And on top of that, you've got the customers who have really evolved over the last 10 years as the internet, as subscription models have evolved, how the cloud has evolved. The expectations of customers has really changed, really increased, and IT services has become much more of a commoditized service, and the sales cycle is potentially shorter. So there's been a lot of changing happening in the industry, which makes it a bit more difficult for you. So today we're going to cover the topics of differentiation and how you can meet those challenges. Now, before we dive headfirst into the IT sector, let's dive into something consumer orientated that we can all probably relate to. This is a prime example of differentiation, that the cost of water straight from the tap, which has a lot of benefits. We all live on it, we need it for survival. Out of the tap, it typically has fluoride, which has health benefits for our teeth, but it's very, very commoditized, freely available, and not highly valued, or the perceived value is not very high, and therefore the monetary value is not very high. Add the convenience of bottling, and your Mount Franklin style water bottle from the local shop, and you're $2.50 a bottle for 750 ml, or maybe even less nowadays. And if you put a brand on it like Evian, It's even probably double that. But the interesting one here is Kona, which I've never personally seen, but you can read online about it. And that is a consumer, obviously, of water that is drawn from below the ocean off an island in Hawaii, the Kona Island in Hawaii. It has unique mineral content and health benefits, and is perceived by those who drink it to make them feel better. And because of the exclusivity and price of it, no doubt it works in their on their ego as well. But that's a consumer-based point of difference on a real commodity item being water, and how the value proposition has changed through those different brands and means of delivering it. So that example is really differentiation at its best, and anyone that can get $402 per 750 mils is an amazing. That's an amazing business. It'll be a hard one to come up with a business case and think that it's going to fly, but it obviously has. So that's a fantastic example. So let's have a look at, bring this back to the IT industry, and we have a look at historically in IT services. The points of or levers of success has been really about, having access to a great product, great vendors that give you great product. You negotiate a good price with them, and your services are delivered at a good price. You've got a good quality people around you, and you've got maybe some vendor certifications to go with it. That was generally, historically enough. You could even add another item on there as well. You'd probably need a really good, strong sales team to get the message out there. And that was enough in the years gone by for success in a lot of IT services businesses. But now, really, that's changed a lot in today's modern world. And the items you see there on the screen, specialization in a particular technology or a particular industry or a particular methodology is coming to the fore. IP creation. So that's really developing a solution, a unique solution, often combining products and services into a solution for a particular target market. Your experience with a particular industry, or how you package and price it. And increasingly, how you market yourself is also becoming more important. And I think that draws onto how you market yourself is really coming into customers' expectations, that as their expectations of the online experience from consumer products and mobile phones and mobile apps has improved, they also expect that from an IT services perspective as well. So the easier and you can make their life, the more they value that. So we're going to have a look at a number of these different areas, and let's start off with the old marketing adage: if you try and be all things to all people, you'll end up being nothing to no one. And that's very, very true. And a lot of IT services companies are sending out very broad messaging to the marketplace. We'll move you to the cloud. We'll make life simple. We'll make it simple for you. Very quite generic type messaging that really is not really getting much cut through in the marketplace. And today we're going to cover a number of different options for you. We covered quite a lot of this in the first webinar, so I really encourage you to go back and have a look at that. And see if we can challenge yourself to get away from the traditional IT messaging about, here's products with great new features and we've got great technical capability, so you should buy the service off us. That message is not really cutting it anymore. So, okay, first and foremost is we're all human and we all seek membership of a group. Now, this is a number of yourselves, hopefully some of you that came to the Ingram Micro Cloud Summit back in, I think it was September, October. This is you all congregating at conferences across the country, listening to presentations targeted specifically at your industry. And this is very true for all humans in all our interaction, whether it's work or at home, whether it's school, sporting, religion, family, friends. We're all seeking a common thread and to be surrounding ourselves with common people. So this human nature we've got is a strong area that you can work and model your point of differentiation on. And then in your messaging and your visual communication and the photos you choose, you can align yourself with that particular group. And we'll go into some examples here. So vertical industry is the classic. You've no doubt heard it at many Microsoft conferences. You know, it's well proven that if you choose 2 or 3 industries to focus your efforts on, and you learn that industry, you learn the language, you learn the problems, you will be a lot more successful in closing your deals. And the figures from Microsoft Research is around 20%, 20% improvement on closure rates. So that's for every quote you do, you're going to get 20% more of them saying yes. So that's worthwhile. So here's a couple of examples. One's focusing on construction, the other one retail, so furniture store in this case. And we're going to cover a number of others as we go through. But vertical industry specialization is something that's very powerful. And once you target 1 or 2 verticals, what are your options? And what are the things you can do to make that a reality? Now, here's an IDC research, the top tactics you can focus on. So let's say you targeted retail, and maybe it's franchise chains that have 50 or more stores across the country. You could start hiring subject matter experts from the industry, and you no doubt the more you deal with them, the more you'll learn their language and their challenges. Optimize your website around that industry or vertical, and that's a really strong, powerful way online to get exposure and to generate leads online from search results from Google and from Bing. And if, as an example, you can start bringing in pages dedicated specifically to an industry, and naturally they will rate a lot higher for anyone from that industry that's searching for collaboration solutions in the retail sector. Your page is going to rank a lot higher for that. Likewise, your Salesforce, you can focus your Salesforce and your sales and marketing efforts in a particular industry or vertical. And that's again, another really powerful way to do that. If you hire someone from that industry who happens to be a salesperson and is tasked with reaching out to that industry, I think that's a very powerful means that a lot of partners do. Likewise, partnering with other channel partners to enhance the solution. Now, this might be consultants who are focused on the marketing for that, and you might want to then offer your IT services, or it might be someone in the area of a particular industry association in a particular industry, and you want to partner with them to provide a solution for their members. And that's a really great way to do it. Likewise, in your events and conferences, if you're going to spend money on sales and marketing and you want to spend money on an event or advertising for that matter, it makes sense to do that in those particular verticals. You're going to get a lot more cut through than just going into a generic marketplace. And that's well proven that the return on investment would be much higher in that sort of scenario. Rather than competing with hundreds of different competitors at an industry event, you're probably only competing with 2 or 3. Okay, let's have a look at a particular how you can get started with this strategy. First and foremost, start off with a couple of focused web pages on your website around a particular industry. And here's a Dynamics 365 for healthcare example. And, you know, on this web page, you can have all the information